Hello. Normally
Hello.
we'd start it off, but we want to do a sound check first. Can anyone hear us? Okay. Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the first Wartilyo stream in a long time. I am Lance, and I am joined by.
Hi, I'm JP.
And I'm Nico.
All right.
Sorry, I'm painting
So,
right now.
yeah, he is painting. He never stops hobbying, except when he's working. But yeah. So, yeah, welcome to the first stream in a long time. Where we just had an amazing experience with the Neutral Grounds Grand Tournament last weekend, and tonight we'd like to
Boy.
share with you a recap of what happened exactly. So, what slide are we on actually?
Oh, no, I
We are
forgot.
currently at the Wartilyo slide. Do you want to go to the result slide?
Yeah. Yeah. So let's just cut to the chase and talk about what happened. Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Well, okay. I'm delayed. I'm watching the stream right now on my phone. It's delayed, so I can't see if people can see what.
So currently,
There it
what
is.
people can see is Nico raising Galmaras to the sky, and me
Mhm.
and Patrick with my trogs.
Okay, so tama. I'm looking at the right screen then. Okay, I thought there was a delay also.
Yeah. So spoiler alert. Nico was able to win Galmaras because he's the freaking champion of the Neutral Ground Grand Tournament 2022. And also with me is JP, who is the best general, also known as the runner-up of the tournament.
Wait a minute.
That's the trophy. That's what the trophy says.
It does. The picture clearly says best general.
Yeah,
If
so you're the
I
best
won,
general.
does that make me the best? The joke.
No, that made you the champion.
But
Let
I
Yeah.
want the straight title. The joke.
Let me have this, Nico.
You want to trade titles? Well, you have to give him the hammer.
No, the hammer's mine.
Hammer goes
I
with the
sleep with it.
champion thing.
I sleep with it every night.
So greedy, you want all the titles, my god. Okay,
It's the Munchkin King.
Yeah, there was. Well, you're not a Munchkin anymore. You're like the Vet King now.
But there's a stipulation in the Munchkin King rule. Once you win the Munchkin tournament, you have to defend your title in the next Munchkin tournament. It's like in Karate Kid right there. So I just basically auto make it to the finals.
Okay,
yeah, I see.
That's very reasonable. We should have both the Munchkin tournament winner and the Grand tournament winner fight off against the guy who tries to get the Munchkin tournament win. There's nothing oppressive or dickish or mean about that at all.
My title, the joke lang.
Maybe we should have that. We should probably do that. That'd be hilarious. Well, that's up to NG. They're the one who hosts the Munchkin tournament. Though I think we should do newbie stuff too next year. All right. There's one more title that we have to talk about though. JP, can we move on to the next one?
All right. And the last reward is there. The last award.
Yeah. So we got
that gorgeous army.
Mm-hmm.
So though Nurgle managed to win best, the champion role, not best general, the champion role. Nurgle's arch rival Zinj, managed to snag the best painted army. This is a gorgeous Disciples of Zinj army painted by Patrick Palma, as shown on screen, who also managed to get some fanatics alongside the trophy for best painted. It's one of the most gorgeous armies I've ever seen, actually, and it's even better looking in person.
Yeah, the picture doesn't do it any justice. Like, sure, this is a photo of it, but when I saw it for the first time during the event, it's like,
yeah.
Oh,
so
when I saw him buy with the box, I'm like, the first thing that caught my eye was just the tiny bit sticking out of the box. Like, wow, that's super vibrant. Whatever that is, it's super vibrant. Like, it's the Lord of Change. No wonder, right? It's pink and whatever, and it's perfectly highlighted and whatnot.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Pops so much.
It's different. Yeah.
No,
it doesn't look like the classic. It looks like the classic Zinj color, but for some reason, compared to the GW paint job, it looks more poppy. I don't know. I don't know the words for it. Pretty good.
I mean, I agree with you. It looks better than the GW paint job. Everything pops so much. It's so vibrant, and it's a treat to see. And I think Patrick's the only one in our group who's had the pleasure to fight it. But yeah, also real quick before we move on to the next slide, hello to Miles, Julian, Vincent, Luigi, and Rap. Thank you for joining us on the stream tonight, and hello to you too. If you have any questions, by the way, feel free to just put them in the comments, and we'll throw them at the people presenting. Okay, so next slide.
All right. There you go.
Okay, So you guys can't see everything on the screen, but we had 9 order factions, 4 destructions, 4 chaos, and batting for Nagash is Liam Razo for the only death player in the tournament. We have a very healthy spread. Almost every faction is represented only once, except for Seraphon and Ogre Maw tribes.
No, there were also 2 Stormcasts.
Oh, sorry, there were 2. I messed up in ordering this. So there are 2 Stormcast players and 2 Idoneth Deepkin, actually. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, very solid spread. As per usual, Order represents the majority, but Chaos, I think, was overall the best performing faction. I mean, Grand Alliance. So, yeah.
Chaos rules.
Actually, a lot of very scary armies. Going into this, I think we were very scared of Sons of Behemoth.
Yeah, we all prepared for that. We all prepared for the worst talaga. And the worst for me was Suns. And we'll talk about that more later, right? But everything went right, basically, for us.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that.
The meta breakdown, considering that this is a tournament that got recognized like internationally, right? Like we got to send this to the stats team. Shout out to Ziggy and the stats team. But it's a good representation of the meta in the country, right? Like we're not just playing the same armies as a community. We have this nice spread, so that's good too.
Yeah. Although we do have some stuff here, like my list kind of mirrors the meta abroad, in a way, and that's all nice to see. Also, at least it also shows that we're not far off from everybody else out there. Also,
Yeah,
we're unique in our own way.
Dude, just a quick cuento, guys. Sorry, I felt so validated when we were watching Rob read the list, and he was like, "Yo." So it turns out that even in a small community like the Philippines, they see the same frustrations of dealing with maggotkin flies versus the people here in London. That's great, and I'm like, God bless you, Rob.
I wanted to comment right there. Maybe you guys should just roll better. I don't know, man.
No, I know. I really should. I should have taken your advice when I rolled 6 1s. But anyways, remember that time that I rolled a miscast, dealt 3 damage to my Mega Boss on Maw Crusher in the tournament, and that put me exactly within kill range of all your abilities?
Yeah, that I agree. If you didn't do that, you would have had at least 3 HP left. Because you
are correct. It was my fault. I shouldn't have even tried casting spells, so that I wouldn't even try miscasting. I shouldn't try to do it. That's what see Nurgle. The moral of the story for Nurgle is you shouldn't try. If you fail after trying, that's your own damn fault.
Oh my god. Sorry. This is so in lore, right? Like Nurgle wants you to despair. And
yeah, actually, yeah. But I've always been a corn boy, and I don't take that. That is bull to me. I have to keep banging my head against the wall, okay? But also, Luigi's asking, lol, was the incoming typhoon added pressure? Actually, no. The tournament was very smoothly run. There was no like rigid schedule, but whenever players finished, people didn't leave the area. So once all the lists were submitted, Patchua just needed like maybe 1 or 2 minutes. And then, we were off to the next round. By the way, before we continue to talking about our gauntlets, shout out to Neutral Grounds, Freddy Tan, Patchua, and Rap Banzon. Great event, very smooth. No major hiccups in any way. The only thing that was probably a threat to the tournament was the typhoon and us waking up to, the text messages that the biggest typhoon, signal number 4, was coming. But we were able to finish by 6 and everyone got home safe. And that I think was very important.
I'm just glad that it wasn't one of those occasions where they canceled, when they closed the mall in the morning palang. They wouldn't even bother opening in the first place because that would have sucked talaga if they had to move it. But I mean, if they had to, then I guess it's for safety talaga. But I'm just glad it all worked out in the end, I guess. It didn't hit us too bad, and we still got to finish the tournament.
Well, it did hit pretty hard, but we were very lucky. But we were very lucky.
Yeah, we were lucky that it didn't hit us exactly in our area too bad. We still got to go home all safe.
Yeah. Julie, Julie, I have no digital background because I'm a boomer and I don't know how to do that.
No. He doesn't have a digital background because his actual background is way better. Like, look at that shelf. Look at those Maw Crushers. They're so pretty.
They're watching over me. Yeah. Nicolas telling you to sell SCE for Gits.
I just might. find out.
Wow.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
All right. This
If
chat
you
really
go deep, right,
influencing the meta here.
there's less pressure, right, JP?
Yeah, no. I wanted to take home Galmaraz so bad.
So
And
you'd
Nico
sell
had
it
to
for
take it
gifts.
away. Yeah,
So you
I'll
get
sell it
gifts.
for Git, and I'll just, at least I can just go take the moon or something. That's easier.
Oh
That's
my
a,
god.
that's a bad joke though, but I guess there's like
No,
a
to the
typhoon.
moon. Oh, true.
There was a typhoon also because I guess Chaos won. Because Chaos stole Galmaraz. Nagalit si Sigmar.
You know what?
Okay.
I'll take it. Anyway, do you guys wanna?
Yeah.
What's next? What's next in our
Okay. So
agenda?
next we're gonna talk. So Patrick couldn't join us for tonight's stream, but we're gonna talk about Patrick's list. So Patrick was able to go for 3-2, and he was the highest scoring 3-2 player in the tournament, making him fourth place overall out of 18. So JP, as the guy who fought this list, Nico and I never encountered him. Would you like to talk about the performance and like talk about this list a bit?
Thank
Yep.
fucking
So
God, by the way.
yeah. So what do you call this? I played with this list a lot. This list is something that we like to stress test our lists against. So I really like it. He changed it from his usual list to this one. He used to play what's the one that's for Beast Claw? The one that you can get mount trait for all your monsters. What's it called? Boulderhead.
Boulderhead, yeah.
What happened to the stream? The Patrick, if
What's up?
you're around, could you fix the camera? Something happened to the cameras.
Interesting.
Thank you, Patrick. Anyway, so yeah, Boulderhead. He used to run Boulderhead, but he switched to Blood Gullet because he felt like he needed more magic. So and the magic was good, right? Like the Butcher giving him buffs and staying near the what do you call that thing? The Maw Pot, so that he
pot,
always
yeah.
has the ability to heal his army even if everything else is pretty much forwarded because he has like a 36-inch range on that thing. So yeah, I like this list a lot, and then it also has the artifact Splatter Cleaver, which also gives more healing to his boy. So imagine, right? Like, this is a list that hits hard, has 13 wounds per big monster model, and if you don't kill that monster model, it's probably gonna heal like D3 again in the combat phase with Splatter Cleaver, D3 again in his hero phase with the Mawpot, and it's really I like this list. Like
Potentially another D3 also if he just heroic recoveries, right? If he kills whatever's next to him, he's just gonna heroic recovery and refill the pot and do it again.
yep.
Yeah.
So
That's it. That's true. And he also brought like Krogthorn. So if he's not pushing through your lines, he's pressuring your lines at the very least. He has those tiny boys to just go run around and steal some objectives. So yeah, this list was this was my last round. Insane. I love this list so much.
Well,
so
I'm curious though. If he took Boulder, what's the other one they could have taken?
Boulderhead.
Boulderhead.
What are the other mount traits aside from? I'm not familiar with Metal Cruncher, and then
He
everyone
has
takes Metal Cruncher.
Yeah, he has one that gives a +1 to hit to all his mount attacks. He has I think that's the only one that I've ever seen. But yeah,
Okay.
I remember like back in the day this list or like Stonehorns used to like bring Metal Cruncher and all because you used to be able to spam that before it got FAQ'd. So you had like
Yeah, 'cause
3
you-
Frost Lord, all with Metal Cruncher, and
You
just die on
have
the
three
charge.
Frostlords charge an Ironclad, and they just all eat that Ironclad alive with mortal wounds.
Yep. So remember, this entire army has I forgot what the trait is called, but essentially it's impact hits on everything. So it's 4-up impact
Yeah.
hits on all his monsters, and then he eats you with Metal Cruncher with a free D6, and he just rolls at start of combat. He deletes a
He'll
lot of
stomp on you
things
after.
at the start. Yep. Oh, he also stomp for another D3, so that's a lot of mortals in the army before he even starts using his attacks. So yeah, pretty scary, pretty pressuring list. Pero like he says, most of the time, it's a very double turn army. So if he gets the double, he is in a very good spot. Like any time during the game that he gets a double, so he has to keep preparing for the double. Pero games that he doesn't get the double, that's a little harder because you can screen against this. It doesn't have a lot of range, which
People
is
in chat. People in chat reacting to ogres. Also, Julie's asking Nico how much she has to pay you to get whacked in the head with that hammer.
you do not
I
have
mean,
to
how
pay.
much you offer?
You have to
How
pay
much you
Nico.
offering? How much you offering?
She I don't know, man. It's a comment. I'm just telling you what she said.
All right,
She
price
offers
at
nothing.
right. Okay. This is official on this chat right now. By the end,
Oh,
I'll
no.
pick the highest. I'll pick the highest bidding right here. 1,000 pesos to whack me in the head with this full force. All right, so
To whack you in the
place
head.
your offer. Yeah,
1,000.
1,000. Okay, that's it. So we'll check the chat at the end and see who got the highest bid.
All right, I'm bidding. 1,000. I'll whack you in the head full force, straight up. Okay,
All right.
but
All
okay,
right.
you did this to
I need
yourself.
the money.
All right, next,
Well, anyways,
love the
keep
ogres.
going.
Dennis, thanks for joining us. Isa's bidding 2K. Wards, Dennis is saying that the ogres are very tough. They're tough wards. So speaking of which, we're gonna talk about Patrick's gauntlet very quickly because he's not here to talk about it tonight. His first game was against Carlos Zamora, or Zami as we'd love to call him. He brought Daughters of Cain and had a very impressive performance showing at the tournament. He beat Patrick in the first game. Patrick said he pussyfooted around a bit too much and wasn't aggressive enough, and Zami got the better of him and straight up beat him. In round two, Patrick was able to fight against Patrick Palma for a Patrick mirror match. Patrick was both judge, winner, and loser in this one because we have Patrick Chua as a judge, Patrick Palma as, unfortunately, the guy who got taken down with his Disciples of Zinch army, which you see on the stream right now, and Patrick being the winner. In round three, Patrick had to face off against Basa Mogul, and he had a good showing for it, but unfortunately, Croak had 2 miscasts in a row at the first spell. So that was 8 spells deleted from the Seraphon lineup for 2 straight turns, which is absolutely insane.
God.
Okay, for Julian Mary, who said that this should be a podcast, we are going to be releasing this on YouTube later on, so people who couldn't catch it live can could catch the discussion. We're hopefully going to share this with our friends abroad so that they can hear about what's going on in the Filipino meta. In game 4, Patrick had to face off against Dennis.
Yeah.
So Dennis was able to, Patrick and Dennis had an impressive fight. Patrick was particularly impressed with Dennis's list, and as you can see later when we talk about our favorite lists, Patrick and another person in our stream tonight chose Dennis's list as their favorite because it was such an ingenious list with an effective and scary hammer that's very versatile in crossing the border, around the board. And unfortunately, in round 5, JP, would you like to talk about his 5th game?
We can talk about the 5th game during my gauntlet, I guess. But yeah, it was a bit heartbreaking already to be matched with your friend. Like this guy is like an old friend from like high school. So we both wanted our lists at some point to be featured in the Honest Wargamers. And when we were both 3-1 and we saw each other in the finals, it was really emotional for the both of us. So yeah. I can talk about that game later when I talk about my list, but yeah.
I love how you describe this as emotional, but when it's against me or like Lance is like, fuck it, like fuck you, man.
When it's against Lance, maybe a bit. When it's against you, screw you, Nico. I'm 0-3 against you in tournaments.
When I fight against Nico, I also get very emotional, but the emotion is anger.
Anger. You know what? Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's anger. It's like I feel like one day I'm gonna go to a tournament with Nico and I'm getting an aneurysm, just straight up. Knock on wood, but straight up. Their emotion is rage. But so speaking of transitioning to how I feel about Nico, let's go on to the next slide.
All right.
So I had a great time in this tournament. I brought double Maw Crushers, even though it's kind of not really what people bring anymore. Mostly people bring a lot of lechon, a lot of pigs, trying to shove people's hearts down with lechon kawale, lots of pigs. I was able to go 4-1, and I was very lucky to get 3rd place. I lost to JP by 4 points, the best general. I think that Nico whooping my ass in round 3 in round 4 in a game that actually had points involved versus JP losing to Nico in the mission where points wasn't involved was a big factor too.
It was.
You know what? It's okay. JP performed really well in this tournament and I'm actually excited for him to tell the story because I think he has a much better story than I do in this tournament. In the first game, I played against Basa at Seraphon. I was able to push through, got very lucky with my attacks. Got very lucky. I pulled a page from Nico's book. I rallied 2 pigs back with 6s. Absolutely disgusting behavior.
Just roll better, right?
It's disgusting. No, you're right. When I chose to roll, when I made the active conscious decision to roll better, I played better. I hate you, Nico. So I was able to
deciding that, man. Yeah, you should be deciding to roll better always.
And
it's an attitude. It's a mentality right there.
No, shut up. I hate you. So we don't actually have So Seraphon was my first round matchup. Thunder Lizards, I felt that I had a really tough matchup against it, but I was able to kill the GVs, and because it was turf war, I was able to hold the center line and take it. In the second game, I played against Bobby Pedaglorio, legendary cavalryman, played since Old World Fantasy. Very tough game. I feel like the mission was. I'm sorry, I don't feel like the mission was Presence of Idols, and it just so happens that my idols were able to win out. He won on one flank, but I was able to win out on two. And in the long run, after exchanging blows, both of our armies were battered, but I was a little less worse for wear. Great game though, Bobby. In round 3, I played against Zami, and the guy is on screen. This is the game that was on round 3. Long board, 30 inches separating me and him. He took first turn. That aura that gave him -1 damage was a headache. It's like fighting Seraphon all over again. Got very lucky and managed to win with major victory. I do not win against snakes on the fist fight. So I have to win by playing a little morkier than gorkier in this case. In round 4, I fought against the man himself, Nico Cavada, and he managed to beat me. He had excellent positioning. He was able to. I know the discussion we had. I got a little heated discussing how it was all positioning. I threw my best water at him. Couldn't break the Nurgle army. I lost fair and square, and I think my demise against Nico is what brought me down to third instead of second. And in round 5, I played against Jigs. Awesome new player to AOS. Welcome to the hobby. He brought Sylvanas with a Kronspine, a Lariel, and a Spirit of Dearth. And unfortunately for him, the mission was battle lines drawn, and basically his army was crippled from the start, and it was not fun to fight against a crippled army.
Oh,
No, it was fun to play against him because he's a great guy, but I definitely had an advantage from just the scenario alone, and I was able to get a clean win, closing me out at 4-1. Yeah?
Yeah,
Sorry.
Lance, could you imagine Alario striking and fading just on round 1? Just straight up striking. That's not fun. That's taking that shit.
So against Jigs, against Sylvaneth, I actually managed to get a practice game against Ollie, and the trick is you have to deploy 0.5 away of the range of the strike and fade range, because if they charge you, they need to be wholly within that aura for them to strike and fade. If not, they won't be able to do it in round 1.
Exactly. It pulls it. Exactly. That's what I always say about things that require an aura. If the thing giving the aura is left behind after the thing they're providing it charges, then the things that charge, right, are left out to dry talaga.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Nico, you're an expert on that, but you'll talk about that later because your Globe and your Lord of Afflictions are very impressive auras that you manage, right, constantly when you're moving around with your flies. Yeah, but we'll talk about that more when we get to your part. Welcome to Mary, Patrick Palma, Liam. Liam is actually Jan Michael. Welcome. Thank you for joining the stream. We have like 23 people on the stream right now. Awesome. Okay. So that's it for my run. I got third place, 4-1. Very happy. Got mentioned by Robin, Honest War Gamer, but now I'll hand it over to the best general to talk about his 5-round gauntlet.
All right. So for my gauntlet, this is the list I brought. I brought Stormcast. I brought Hallowed Knight so I could bring Gardas for the 5-up wards, and I brought I'd like to think it's still spicy tech, but I brought Double Relictor. Essentially, I brought the most versatile model twice, and yeah, essentially it has 4 prayers per model, and that versatility it really came out clutch in all my games. They stayed alive. They were actually bashing, fighting, and God bless these 2 Relictors. Fun fact, my second Relictor is not mine. I had to borrow it from Patrick. So God bless Patrick. I wouldn't have been able to play if not for your models. Then I brought 3 Liberators on Expert Conquerors. Essentially, they're paratroopers that count as 15 on objectives. I can drop them on any objective that you leave behind and steal it from you. Or if you have like a small garrison or like a small detachment guarding that flank, well, Liberators can probably hold their own defensively. Obviously, these guys they can't fight. I have Tempesters. They're the shooty version of the Dracothian Guard. Normally, you guys would see the Fulminators, right? And they're the I charge you, I win. I charge you, I kill you, I win. These ones are a little bit different. They're the shooty type, but essentially their role here is mobile screen, just so I can move my castle a bit. They can keep holding a flank. because they're pretty tanky, 6 wounds each, 3 up saves, and when I'm done dealing with you in the melee, I still need speed to actually take objectives. So usually it falls to the Tempester and the Aether Rings. I have a 10 block of protectors that with Gardus, so that's a 2 up save, 5 up ward, 30 wounds. It's an actual spear wall to protect my raptors. My raptors are the 2 MSU units essentially, and then I brought Thunderbolt volley so they can shoot twice, one time in the game. That also proved crucial. So my gauntlet was pretty insane. I went ahead and fought Sir Jigs in the first round. I was really scared because he was just hiding behind trees, right? Like you guys know how Wildwoods deny vision, deny LOS right after 3 inches.
Yeah.
He essentially put one in the middle of the map and kept everything behind it. Like I wish I had a photo to show you, but essentially, how can I shoot anything when everything is like hiding in the trees and the trees were speaking?
A friendly reminder, you're not Sentinels.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're Sentinels now, they don't care anymore.
God bless. God bless. God bless. Anyway, I hate
God bless
Sentinels so much.
Bless the Luminerf.
The Luminerf. More power to the Luminerf. Anyway, so I can't shoot anything versus Jigs' list. It was really good against mine, except for the Kron Spine. So I just went, fuck it. I shot the Kron Spine turn 1, and then after that, I moved up everything to try and prevent the teleports. Kasi if you're within 3 inches of the trees, right, you can't teleport to them. They're essentially turned off. So my deployment essentially is just I made sure I had Liberators guarding the back. I had two layer of screens guarding one side, and then my protector wall on the other side. So I was just trying to deny the teleports. Pero Jigs was really good during that game. He was using Strike and Fade so much, and he was wasting so much of my damage with it. I think I got Durthu down to 2 wounds twice, and then he would just leave with Strike and Fade and heal up behind that cover-based whatever headquarters in the forest that he had, and come out max wounds again. It was insane.
That's
but
wild.
He heal, by the way. I'm curious, how much do they heal? That sounds insane.
They have regrew. They have so many heal spells. Like I don't even know how it works. They had so many heal spells. Like essentially, I don't have it at the top of my head, unfortunately.
I get that.
Pero yun. Yeah.
Did you manage to kill Alariel?
Oh yeah. So Alariel was really scary, and he essentially got he charged it into my protectors, and then I got the turn because he got prio. Or sorry, I gave him prio turn 2. He tried to deal with the protectors with Alariel and the Kron Spine, but they lost that fight due to dice. And then when I got the turn, Alariel was just stuck there, and she got mauled by the protectors. Unfortunately, when he rolled to try to bring Alariel back, it was during round 3. I think he rolled a 1. He needed a 2 or something like that, and he rolled a 1.
Oh shit, that sucks.
Yeah. Made the dice. I swear to God, guys, the dice are a major factor in these games. So Alariel not coming back is essentially what won me that game. So a lot of dice help there.
Can I just say also, I predicted also in your game, the Kron Spine would have I predicted straight up. I told you guys this already before. Against the list without any endless spells or monsters that has shooting, the minute you ping it and bring it down to one table, the minute he charges in and gets into combat, that's a good chance it dies. And I'm glad it worked out for you there already, because I think we all talked about how when we saw all the lists, right, we were worried about the Kron Spines being oppressive, just like Purple Suns that day. Yeah, so at least it worked out for you there also.
Yeah, actually, it was a huge help. Oh, I wanted to mention then, shout out to BK. I don't know if BK is tuned in, but he also talked to me before the start of that game. He told me his experience with Sir Jigs and what's scary, what's the threat. So yeah, I got to prioritize the stuff because of that short advice, that short talk from BK. So yeah, even if we're not like, we're just random people in the tournament, right? Like, that's how cool the community is. They actually just help you out, and the game, this could actually help you out, ganun. You should focus on this and be worried about this. So yeah, right. that was my first game. It was really good. Second game, right? I went up against Sean. I'll be talking about his list more later. That's my favorite list. Spoiler alert. And essentially what happened was he gave me the first turn. I killed an Iron Blaster. And then he got the second turn. ran into my lines. Like, he got stopped for the first turn by my lines, and then essentially he got the double, which then proceeded to destroy my spear wall, and he got inside to the juicy parts of my army, the raptors and whatever. Pero after that, I got the double turn again. So I went second turn and double turn into the third. And that's essentially how I clawed my way back.
Yeah.
He got me down to one model of raptor, like just one dude. And if I rolled like a 5 for the battle shock, he runs away. I rolled a 1, thank God. And then I TP'd him away, and then he just, that lone sniper, just started taking out the stuff that survived the melee. And because
Lone
of that,
Survivor.
yeah, dude, that lone survivor, he got to
Lone
shoot like,
Survivor.
I think I gave Thunderbolt Volley to that one model because he was so desperate in killing what's in front of him before he teleported out and started shooting other stuff. But yeah, essentially he ran into my wall with his army. He broke that wall handedly. That army is so good. It's strong in range. It's strong in melee. And my double turn just allowed me the space to actually spread out on the map and take some objectives. So I got kind of lucky because I needed that double to actually turn that fight. It was so dire straits, if I can say so myself. Like, most of my armies were already in tatters at round 2, and I was kind of already checked out of the game until I got that double.
Yeah, actually, when I passed by the table the first time, I thought you had already lost. It was kind of nuts. Like, I'm so glad that you won. I mean, shout out to Sean. Sean, you're a cool guy. But like, it was so insane. The comeback that you pulled was so insane. Like, but that's not the only time you did this tournament. But we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah, but I do want to point out the protectors were great though. Like, they were able to hold off a Frost Lord, an Iron Gut, and a reinforced unit of Lead Belchers for 2 rounds. Like, the protectors were MVPs. Sure, they died. They will always die. They keep dying this tournament. They never survive. But they're the
Pain
best.
if
They're
you're the
best
front
boys.
of the army.
Yeah, right. Like, they're
I
the
mean,
actual
if
best
you're
boys.
soaking, if you're soaking up everything in the army, they're of course they're gonna die talaga.
Yeah, they were best boys. They were best boys. So yeah, spread out in the map, got some positioning, killed some stuff, and then got over in points. I think that game was really close. I think we went down to the last battle tactic to determine who wins the game. After that, we went to lurkers below the battle plan with no points. That's where I got my ass handed to me by Nico, handedly. And I think it's better to let Nico talk about that game later on. He's gonna talk about it in his gauntlet.
Yeah, let's go through our matches later.
Yeah, but essentially, I just did what my army does best. I turtled. He pinned me, and that was it. I never got out of the pin. He is a good grappler, and I got grappled hard. Well played, good sir. So yeah, we can move on from that. Day 2, game 1. So game 4 essentially would be DOK. That was Zami's list. Zami's list is insane. Another shout out to Sir BK. Sir BK was like helping me so much in this tournament. He told me that before the game started, you should watch out for the melee snakes. They're insane at like round 3 because they have +1 to wound, +1 to, and I was like, yep. I'll do that. So the first thing I did, I took that advice. I shot it, Thunderbolt Volley, double shot it in my turn. And Zami just rolled a 6-up ward save to save 1 model with 1 wound. And it was and it made the game so much more difficult because that gamble did not pay off for me. He just rallied that thing on a 4-up on his turn, and he had 5 models again, and then again on the second turn, and now he has like 8 models again. So I shot them from 10 to 1 with 1 wound, and they went back to like 8, and I was like, well,
Oh man.
I guess my game plan is not gonna work out. So yeah, I threw my protectors at all of his army essentially, and the protectors held Morathi for like what 2 rounds and a half, 2 rounds in the start of like top of 4. And if I did not win priority on the 5th round, I would have lost that game. That game went down to the last battle tactic. Also, Zami missed out on Desecrate because of he had to choose between taking an objective or taking his battle tactic, and he dropped his tactic for the objective for points later on in the game. But it didn't pay off because I got to take the objective again because I won the priority. So the priority was really big in that game. Essentially, he had snakes. I was being shot by snakes. He was being shot back by snipers. It was great. It was a real slogfest in the middle, like how armies are supposed to play. It was classic.
Shout out
And
also to Patrick, right, for his advice on bloodthirsty zealots.
Yes, actually. Yeah. That was ano din. That was huge. But I got denied my grand strategy there. The other big moment, I guess, after the thing, because I was my army was also in tatters by like round 3, and I
That-
thought I would be dead. I only had heroes and raptors, I think, by round 3. But it being mighty in the cunning was a huge help for me. I got to kill the what do you call that? The naked ladies, the sisters
Sisters
of.
of Slaughter.
There you go. The Sisters of Slaughter in an objective. That got me an 8-point turn, which gave me a very handed lead. Because I was winning by points, because my guys are big in points, right? Like they can hold objectives. Um, but he was winning the kill fight. Like I was losing, I was dying and losing fights left and right. And then essentially, my support heroes, my two Relictors and Gardas, they were like, we shall not surrender. So Gardas was like, yep, let's do this once per battle thing where I give you extra attacks and let's fight his melee snakes, mind you. The melee snakes that I was so terrified about. And my 3 heroes did it. They killed melee snakes. Who would have thought, right? 3 support heroes from Stormcast.
I mean,
So
to be
that
fair,
yeah.
I'll give it to the Stormcast, the army. Your
Yeah.
support heroes still kind of slap. They do like 2 damage each with Ren, so I wouldn't count them out just yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
If Gardas gives him the buff, both Relictors have 5 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1, 2 damage, and Gardas
Yeah, no,
himself 6 attacks. Yeah.
Okay.
that's better than my Lord of Affliction in terms of attack profile. 5 attacks na -1, 2 damage each. That's way better.
Yeah,
Dude,
right?
I charged at those melee snakes with a Bounty Hunter, Violent Fury'd up Gorgrunta unit and dealt like no damage. Because my rolls were fantastic. I should have rolled better. But also Zammy's in the chat and says, JP, that game was his favorite game hands down in the tournament.
But
Oh.
I'm actually pretty impressed that those snakes survived Gorgruntas with Violent Fury. And
I rolled like dog. I rolled like a dog.
oh, okay.
Sorry, JP is responding to Zammy, I think.
Yeah, no, Zami, yeah, same. Like, all my games were really close. All my games were but that was hands down the most stressful one for the tournament for me. Kasi it was, if I lost that game and I won it by like a very slim margin, super slim, and it was so down to the dice. But if I lost that game, my run for 4-1 would be over, and it was so stressful because I really needed that win to move forward. Because Nico handed me a loss nga the day before. I wasn't really comfortable with the position I was in the tournament. So yeah, that was the most stressful and the most like competitive game I had. No, like hands down, it was insane for me then.
Can I just say also,
Yeah.
your game was actually one of the most stressful games for me to watch also. Because whoever won that match would decide who I fought in the finals. And
Yeah.
I really did not want to fight Zami in the end. I know that Zami and I have practiced before and I came out on top before. But I know people learn eventually. And it's not this isn't a list that you just underestimate. Because people learn, right? And that list is exactly enough actually to deal with me. Because I can't look, Marathi is we can all agree, right? Marathi is just a roadblock of a person.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I'm just glad that you managed to pull that out of your ass last minute because you didn't want to fight that.
Yeah, dude. Like,
sorry, go first.
yeah. It was. I really don't know how I pulled that off. It was a lot of dice. Like I swear to God, that last turn prio was the biggest thing for the both of us. Whoever won round 5 prio kasi would be able to score max points, and the other guy would be behind on points because of the board positioning. So I needed it. I really needed it to be able to score max on the last turn and then secure the win. So yeah, our game really went down to the dice. I can't believe my games were like that, but yeah, all my games were like that.
Daughters of Cain is really good right now. They're
yeah.
really scary, and if you'd be a fool to underestimate them.
Yeah, I know.
Surprise! Elves are good in this game. Whoa.
I stayed up because we were doing the math, right? Me and Lance were doing the math after day 1. I stayed up so late. I was reading his tome on Warhammer AOS app. I was like, oh, these things are so strong, and he has like the pluses to save and all those buffs. It's very synergistic. The list, like DOK is good, right? DOK is really good, but the list itself is very well thought out. Like he paid 100 and something points for 2 heart renders, but that essentially scores him a battle tactic. It gives him screens. for me, I think very min-max yung list. It was very well thought out. So that's also props to Sammy, right? Like good list building, my guy. Good list building.
Okay, and now you're gonna talk about the most dramatic, not the most, the most dramatic fight in the whole
Naruto
tournament,
versus
I think.
Sasuke all over again.
Yeah.
I
So
actually think this is more dramatic than any fight we had with each other because of the stakes.
yeah. So the four of us, we all wanted to have our list at Honest War Gamers, right? Like that was the hope and the dream. We wanted to attend this tournament and hopefully at least some of our lists get there. So that was everybody's individual goals. Patrick and I went into the last round 3-1 each, and essentially when we got paired up, we immediately hugged, and I was like, man, whatever happens is gonna be sad. It's gonna be bittersweet. Because if he won, I would be so happy for him. He'd be 4-1. His list gets read. But that means I lost and my list doesn't get read. But if I win, then hooray me, my list gets read. Pero my good friend doesn't have his list read, and it's because we fought. And I was like, God damn it. Well, this has to happen. So yeah, we played that round. This picture is essentially round 2, top of the round 2. We rolled Prio, and essentially I deployed really far from him so that he can't run at me turn 1, and I could leverage my shooting a bit, which I did, and most of his Stormhorns at this point were wounded because of the turn 1 shooting. I just spread it around and then just, hurt everything to make it harder for him to get to me. But he still made it either way at the end of the start of round 2. But because of that, the turn passes to me. I got to kill that Frost Lord that I'm pointing at, and subsequently charge the other things that's on my left. So because of how the turns went out, I was also able to control this. This is also battle lines drawn, by the way, so there's no teleports. My 2 Relictors had their biggest prayers turned off here, but because I kind of planned for it, I had 3 units of MSU Liberators just waiting to drop from the sky and steal quarters. And that's essentially what made this difficult for Patrick. If you can see, he has 1 lone Frost Lord going to like La La Land over there in the side. That's because there's some Liberators there that he has to chase out, or else they're just gonna count as 15 in that quarter and deny him his own home quarter. So essentially, I just tried my best to make him spread his army. And again, this fight boiled down to the last priority. If I lost 5th turn prio, he would take 3 quarters, kill my Liberators where they stood, and he would take over in points. I was just ahead by 1 before the last turn. But since I won it, I got to score max, and then he got to score max subsequently. So that didn't matter now because I had the lead. So if we both score max, I have lead, and I just took the game. And yeah, that was this one. It was a classic matchup. We keep playing this game a lot. Me and Patrick, we keep testing our lists against each other. So yeah, it was just, we knew exactly what the armies could do. We didn't even discuss our armies. We were just like, yo, roll off. Okay, God bless. Let's see. Let's start. Yeah. This was a dice game na lang for us. Whoever won the melees, and that's gonna be decided by the hits, wounds, and saves, right? So there. That was my last round. And road to 4-1. Nico, you ready, bro?
All right, let's go off to my gauntlet. Yeah, my gauntlet.
Yeah.
All right, so woo, Nurgle, yay, season of Nurgle. I know everybody hates Nurgle now, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Most hated man in the world. Woo. All right, so I took Maggot Kid of Nurgle and I played Drowned Men. Oh, the most underrated army in the world. Yay. But yeah, so I took Maggot Kid of Nurgle, Drowned Men. So basically what this means is I get the pre-game move. So I start the game basically in your face. And on my turn, I get to go right into your face turn 1 pa lang already. And that's what, surprisingly, I didn't get to do a lot of that in this tournament. And I'll explain later why. So, but back to the list building, I took the 2 Maggot Lords, Orgots, and Blobe. Orgots basically the hammer, Blobe being the toolkit. Lord of Afflictions being my general and giving the aura that is command abilities, which is very big in my games talaga. And we also have I just have 3 units, just 2 units of 4 flies and a unit of Blight Kings, and that's pretty much it. I realized that Nurgle doesn't need bounty hunters, so I just went battle regiment because I always want to go first and I want to dictate the terms of my well, not really go first, but I want to dictate who gets priority because a lot of the game style with Nurgle, which I talked to Lance about, is how you adapt to the clock. Because Nurgle has a clock where at the start of the game it starts at one thing, then you have to adjust based on its effect, and I love that concept. It really tests your skill as a Nurgle player para sa akin if you can adjust to the worst case scenario. And yeah, that's basically it. I'm at 1940 out of 2,000 points. So that basically guaranteed me the triumph in every single game. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's go to my first matchup. Do we have a slide for that or no slide for that?
No,
Yeah,
no.
no slide, just keep-
Sorry. So just go
for
for
it.
your first matchup.
All right. So surprisingly, funny enough, first matchup of the tournament was against Liam. This was like the very first time I ever got to play against him, and thank God that dude did not bring Nurgle, because if that was a Nurgle versus Nurgle matchup, I would have felt what you guys felt, and I would have just hated fighting Nurgle. And I'm Nurgle.
So you admit it's miserable fighting you.
Well, to be fair, kasi, even Liam said that it would be such a hard matchup because the clock wouldn't affect any of us, and that would really suck. Basically, it's just a huge part of our gameplay just down the drain. No one gets to move the clock with an ability, and then no one gets to even benefit from it. That means we can pile in, we get the ward save, so, like, no, I guess pagalingan sa dice na lang. If that's it.
Yeah. But
Right?
Nico, I'm so sorry. You said a lot of things, but my brain is still on cloud 9 after hearing you. Yeah, fighting Nurgle sucks. Yes, Nico, fuck you.
Fighting Nurgle as Nurgle is not fun. But, okay, so Liam brought OBR, and it still scared me a bit because I've played this against this army before with Nico, no? Like a long time ago in Path to Glory. And this is actually an army that can survive a charge from Nurgle just because it has this reinforced battle shields, I guess. And the recycle mechanic and bringing back models is such a pain in the ass, right? But luckily for me, the battle plan was basically we were basically 18 inches away from each other, and that's more than enough for me to get into his face turn one. And since his list only had one Gothisar Harvester, the one that recycles models, right? I just checked out basically where that harvester was, and I went the opposite direction. And I tried to pin it already on turn one alone by killing the screen, and it went my way. Basically, it was such a long game because imagine being in combat round one pa lang, but no one dying. So for round one to round three, it was just hitting. It was just us hitting each other back and forth.
Yeah.
No joke. Yeah.
Yep. So to that effect, Nico, Liam has a comment for you. So the only reason why I brought
Yeah.
that was because I didn't want to face Nico as Nurgle. Nurgle versus Nurgle is like brick versus brick.
Exactly. And even when it was OBR, it was still brick versus brick. It's just Nurgle it's a brick that's thrown at you. So yeah.
One more thing pala before we move on. Luigi Scarella is asking how many 3.0 versus 2.0 and lower battle tomes. So in my gauntlet, it was only the Ogre Maw tribe, so Sean and Patrick's list that were 2.0, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, and surprisingly these lists still held pretty well together. They still need an update, but I mean, you saw how well they performed, right, in this tournament. And
How about
for
you,
me,
Lance? Sorry.
And for me, it was OBR. That was my 2.0. The only
Just
2.0.
OBR for you.
Yeah, it was just OBR. It was
For me, it was just Seraphon. But whether a book is updated or not isn't always an indicator of like how strong it is. I think that Seraphon is a very competitive army, even with their 2.0 book.
Yeah.
Speaking
maybe,
of,
right?
Nico, your 5th round is also a 2.0 book.
Cities.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. It
Yeah.
just seems
Which is
They-
also
they
competitive.
they constantly update that thing. I keep forgetting. It's not a new book. It's just a new update.
Yeah. Kasi usually the biggest difference between 3.0 and 2.0 books, right, is the book tactics. Book tactics are really big.
There's also a smaller there's also a lot less rerolls and a lot more pluses because I think GW is slowly trying to siphon rerolls out of the game.
Or lessen that lang a little. Yeah.
Yeah, if you look at Seraphon right now, for example, there's a crap ton of rerolls for a lot of things.
Yeah, I get that. I get
which
that.
makes him very consistent in playing every phase. But sorry,
Mm.
go on.
Go on.
But anyways, yeah, that was my game with OBR. It was just basically locking him in his place because they don't have any way to like fly over you. They have no way of teleporting. So yeah, the situation was in my favor at that point already.
Uh,
Move
I have one cool kwento though from the first round lang. Since we're
Yeah.
talking about Liam, there was a point in my game during because Liam's table was right next to ours. Liam and Nico's table were right next to mine and Krieg's, and Krieg was like, "Oh, I'm rolling really, really weirdly. It's really poor. Like his rolls were really poor talaga, especially his charges. Like he needed the +3 to even make any of his charges. So he was like, "Yo, Liam, would you bless my dice?" So he went out like this, and Liam went like that on the dice. And then he made a roll for attacks for his dryads. 20 dice, right? 20 dice.
Yeah.
He had like 9 ones. BK has a photo of it. It was so funny. So yeah, Liam, God bless you and your curse/blessing, I guess.
For your
I
mutant
love
power.
I love how the tournament just stopped there for a bit so people could run and take pictures of the dice.
Yeah,
Dude,
it was so funny. That moment was so funny because we stopped your game, so Liam could bless the dice. He rolled the dice and he went ahead and called like BK from like the next table over, and BK was like, "Yo, what happened? Oh, look at that!" It was a nice moment of levity in an otherwise very competitive tournament.
I
So
love it.
yeah, I loved
I
it. I
love that
loved it.
moment. But surprisingly, in our game, Liam wasn't rolling horrible. Actually, he was rolling pretty well. Actually,
I think he's immune to that, right?
for no. That's how he got that reputation, the rolling ones there. But if I'm correct, right? Yeah. But in our game, with the force to wound with the Mortic guard, surprisingly they were getting like how many in, and I was surprised talaga. Lalo pa with bludgeon when they add rend, it was really scary. But yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
kudos to them. Sorry, guys.
Christoph's comment before we move on. Shout out to the real blessed dice dice. Yep, for everybody who fought Nico, who were tuned in, that's the dice that Nico rolls. So God bless, right?
Yeah, if you
Actually,
want to get
you use
competitive
Dice
tournament
Dice
dice.
also. Yeah,
That-
you use Dice
yeah,
Dice, right, JP?
yeah, that's true. That's true. But I'm not the issue here, Nico. It's you.
Daisuke Dice, the dice of
Yeah,
winners. Guys, check out her
Dice
page on
Dice
Facebook right
is a
now.
winner.
Buy them. I don't use Daisuke Dice, and that's why I'm not in the podium, unlike these two champs over here.
No, it's the mentality, Lance. You gotta want it. You gotta think that you're gonna roll.
Oh, now I
good.
didn't want it enough.
Yeah, Lance,
I hate
Lance.
you so much.
You have to just shout that you're gonna roll really well, and then it just roll. It happens. It happens, right?
That's what I
You
like
try.
doing. I love shouting. I'm gonna roll really well in a public, family-friendly environment. It's the best thing. I love it. And then the fire alarm goes off in the back because that's what happens there sometimes.
Uh,
The fact that you tried to rally two pigs meant that you wanted it that bad, and it happened. See,
I didn't
it's all
scream it out, okay? I'm a very loud person. I don't scream. I will roll sixes. I don't do that. That's insane. Oh my god.
Nico. Yeah, go ahead, Nico. Sorry, we keep interrupting you, man. I'm so sorry.
It's alright. It's alright. Let's move on to the second matchup now already, which has to be one of my best matchups. I mean, in terms of best, ibig sabihin, like one of the hardest games I've ever fought had to be. And you guys gave me a run for my money, but Dennis has always been a threat on my radar talaga. And fighting him in the presence of idols was actually for his benefit more than mine because you know how Skaven like to run away. And in the presence of idols just basically negates that or lessens that, right? Which it wasn't much of a factor in our game, but it's still, you know, having nothing to fall back on, right? And the extra points pa. Dennis played Skaven, and it wasn't the shooty Skaven, surprisingly. And he deployed really well. And this was one of the moments where I said, surprisingly, I did not get the pre-game move and charge immediately. Because everyone I play against who's fought me before in tournaments or casual games, they know better than to deploy up front. So he deployed far back, knowing that he has leverage with his movement since he has no holes, right? So all I could do was pre-game move into the objectives, but slightly behind. And I made sure that I parked something next to a null hole near my area just so he couldn't teleport into that. But my god, that game was insane. Because I've never seen anyone pop 5 Blight Kings with one attack before. In one fell swoop, 5 attacks.
How much damage, Nico?
I took 30 damage and I saved 4.
In line with that, right? Like Christoph is saying here, the Skaven list terrifies me too with their hard-hitting rats. Yeah, this is a good sample of a hard-hitting rat.
Yeah.
Even I can't delete Blight Kings, and I'm Stormcast.
Yeah. No, legit. Dealing 30 damage and me only saving 4 damage was pretty insane. I wasn't even saving anymore at that point. Because it was Red 3, roared, then I got stomped on, then I got hit for 30 damage. I'm like, yeah, I'm dead. I'm straight up dead.
Yeah.
But, yeah, go ahead.
No,
No,
I'm
go
just
ahead,
saying, like, even if Iron Joss traditionally has a good matchup against Skaven, Dennis actually scares me as a player because over the course of several games, you see how he adapts very well to the season, how he adapts to the game plans. Like, there are some matchups and some missions in this tournament that he's won, because I know going into this tournament, like, he wasn't happy with some of the battle plans for his army, but he adapted and he actually won both of. Oh, sorry, he won. He won one of those games. Actually, he won like he won one of the. He won Battle Lines drawn, which is insane.
Yeah. Yeah, that should
Right.
have theoretically screwed him over a bit. Yeah.
No, absolutely. No. Kudos to him.
So yeah, that shows how scary of a player Dennis is actually.
Shout out to my fellow brother in Christ, Dennis, who also complained about the battle plans. That was me too, Papi. We were same boat. God bless.
Yeah.
But you guys pulled it out. Yeah, you guys pulled through. And in our game, it basically came down to monster versus monster. But sadly for him, he only had one monster left because this was the first time I got to watch something pop when 8 flies charged into a vermin lord and it killed him on the charge alone because he had pestilence on him also. But it basically came down to the Warbringer because all my flies were dead. The Warbringer versus Orgots, Blobe, and Loa, and my Lord of Afflictions. I'd like to think even if he popped Orgots there, I still would have had a good chance because I still had 2 other heroes to fall back on. And Blobe is still no joke, actually. But that one turn where I saved everything was just insane. Yeah, I agree.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, people saw that. It was a finest hour Vermin Lord versus finest hour Orgots. I think we both roared each other at that point. No, I got roared, but I Titanic doubled back. And yeah, it was pretty insane. He had -3 rend, and I rolled all 5s and 6s, and the ones that I missed, I rolled ward saves enough to take no damage at all.
How many attacks went in, Nico? How many attacks went in?
I think only 1 went in, but it only dealt like 3 damage, but I ward saved all of it.
No. Like how many attacks before your saves?
6.
6 attacks went in before your saves. You needed 5s, right?
5s and 6s, yes.
5s and 6s, and out of the 6 dice,
there were some attacks na 4s and there were some with 5s because I had Mystic Shield on him if I remember correctly. Oh no, Finest Hour. I had Finest Hour on him. Tama, yeah. So 5s and 6s, yeah.
Yeah, 5s and 6s. So yeah. So out of the 5 dice he rolled 5, 5s and 6s. And then of the one that failed, how many did you save for the 6 damage?
6. He saved 6 because it was 6 damage. He took 0 damage.
Yeah.
Oh god, that was like the insane moment. Like for everybody watching, we input it into this stats hammer thingy online, and apparently, if you're a 4-up save against that weapon profile, the average damage you're supposed to take, even with a 5-up ward, is somewhere around 20 damage.
It's 20 damage.
Yeah.
And Nico took 0, like an actual
him.
champ.
Come on, guys. JP, come on. It's a normal day for him. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, but see, this is what scares me the most. I know I have a good track record, but what scares me is I can't rely on luck, right? But surprisingly, I admit, there are times when I roll badly, but I have these weird anime moments where things look so bleak and dark. It just comes out.
Yeah, dude. You summoned all the anime magic that you could summon. You called all the weeb lords to prey on you or whatever, but like that was so fucking anime.
I had no idea. Even in my I'll talk about it later, but even in my game with Lance, even with you, I had an anime moment for a bit.
Yeah, no, 100%. You can talk about it after this one, but holy shit, your tournament run was insane. Anyway.
It was insane. But yeah, so big shout out to Dennis. I would have to say Dennis gave me the hardest fight in this tournament, next to Lance, actually, and you. But yeah, in terms of killing my stuff.
Before we move on to your third round, Luigi said it was nice that battle plans are submitted. Our battle plans are revealed after list submission. Yeah. So essentially, we didn't actually get to plan for the battle plans. You make your list, and it has to be like an all rounder list. And they just how many battle plans are in the GHB 10? There's 10, right?
12.
12. Yeah.
There are 12.
So
12 each season.
12 each season. So yeah, instead of being able to tailor your list to the battle plans, they're shown to the players after your lists are submitted. And yeah, I banked on to teleport unit, so that's like how much? 290 points, and my entire army deep strikes, and that's just how it goes.
You need to adjust. You definitely need to have...
Sorry, go.
Yeah, basically you just need to find a way. You need to make a list that can respond to any situation, like a toolkit list.
Yep.
Yeah.
So some tournaments do it differently. They give you a battle pack with and I think this is a really good a really good format where it's after submission. I think it forces players to be more general about their lists, and I like it about this tournament actually.
Okay. Also, hi to John Edward David. Thank you for joining us in the comments today. Hope you're enjoying the stream. We're currently talking about Nico's Gauntlet, and we're going into game 3. The championship run. We're going to game 3 now.
Game 3 was the one and the only JP. I swear we always run into each other in the tournament, and it never gets old. Oh, it gets old, but I don't know. It's really funny.
No. It never gets old. It's always a challenge. Like, okay, every time I see you, and every time we get matched up, I'm already like, you know what? There's a good chance you're gonna lose, but you're gonna play out this game and give him a good run for his money because you're a good sports. But also, I want to stab you. So there's that.
I always come out of our games with a headache because you're always screwing around with me, like singing or whatever while we play. And then I just get frustrated. I'm like, just shut the fuck up and play, man.
I get hit with the Nurgle, man. I get hit with the Nurgle, and it's just acceptance at that point. We skip every stage of denial, stage of grief. Sorry, we just go straight to acceptance because that's what Nurgle wants.
It was a fun game. It was actually a really fun game because we'll talk about it right now. Like, I couldn't deep strike you again. See, this is another moment where I couldn't turn one, just move and then charge at you, right? So I basically had to I call this a big dick play because I just formed the line like a blockade of flies and saw and just rolled to see how many would get the charge in, a 9-inch charge in. And apparently only the general rolled a 9, right? So I just charged the general alone into the front of his entire army, and he took no damage.
Yep. I basically double turned after that. So essentially, it was his general, just one measly dude versus my entire army. All my shooting, all my biggest hitters, he was right in front of it. And he survived that, essentially. All the way to his turn.
That was the gamble right there. I threw him in there hoping to stall. Because even if he died, I had Morgoths, right? A War Master behind, right? So he did more than just stall, actually. He soaked up a lot of shots. And I was pretty happy with how it turned out.
To be fair, I kind of made a gamble in that game, right? Where I put my Raptors in a forward position, thinking you would have a hard time actually engaging them. And that was my mistake. So you kind of chewed up half of my firepower already before they got to shoot anything.
Yeah.
But the way you rolled your saves too, right? Like you needed 5s and 6s, and I had 31 attacks. Out of 31 attacks and like 4d3, you took 1 damage. I threw 4d3 mortal wounds at you at your own combat. 4d3 mortal wounds and 31 attacks, Ren 2. And he took all of 1 damage. So, God bless.
He dealt 6 mortal wounds at one point. They were all 4s. They were all... To be fair, the general also had a 4-up, which should have been 50-50, right? A 4, 5, and 6, and a dice should be 50-50. But no, I saved all 6, and that surprised me as well. I thought he was fucked there already, but no.
Yeah, no, when I rolled 6 mortals, I was like, oh, 6 mortals. This is how I get through the big saves. Oh, nope, never mind. He just ward saved everything. Casually warp saves. Parry this, you filthy casual, and he actually fucking caught it. Like,
it is what it is.
No, it's a normal day. Like, it's so hard to break through Nurgle. It's much harder to break through Nico's rolls. Like, it's so frustrating.
Yeah, but despite all this bellyaching, right? Like, we love this man. He actually played it really well. Pinning me in my objective is definitely the play against my army, right, Nico? Like, there was no other way. Especially in the battle plan that we played.
Yeah, I also had to be careful then also because I knew you could just teleport stuff out if I move everything forward. Okay, it kind of forced me to park my Blight Kings in the back, and I had to park Blob in the center, if that made any sense, because you have expert conquerors. I can't risk you summoning. I can't risk you like teleporting into an objective and just winning or stealing the objective from me. Uh, and I knew your grand strat was you had to have more stuff in my territory, so I felt that. So I summoned the Beast of Nurgle all the way in the back na in my own territory just to make sure that I had two stuff in there, just to add more pressure to you, putting
Pero
more stuff in the back.
for the battle plan being what it was, I don't think it mattered much if I went to your backline kasi it's not like I
Yeah.
could take your objective or it's not like I could do anything from the backline. I really had to fight your army in an ARAM mode, like for
Assist
all our League of
fighting.
Legends listeners, right? Like there's really a all random all mid game mode
All mid mode,
lurkers.
yeah.
So if I lost the main fight, the fight in the middle, there's no way I
Yeah.
was gonna get major victory anyway. So I was trying
Yeah.
to stall all the way to round 5, but it's you also hurt, right? Like your
Yeah.
disease also just slowly
See,
whittled my army down.
see, this is actually why I was very paranoid also, was because I needed to stop you from getting your grand strat, was you already screwed me over with one battle tactic, and my worry was the game would stall until round 5 and you had all your tactics and I didn't. And that was
Yep.
my biggest worry. So that was my panic right there. But yeah,
Pero
it turned out, it worked out well naman. It still did pretty well pa rin.
yeah, no, that game was insane. Had I known that there were no points for like battle tactics weren't a tiebreaker, this is what I get for not reading. I could have
Yeah.
conceded that game round 3, right, Nico? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I know. I was
Nico, sorry.
such a hate going round 4 and round 5 already. So, because that was the last fight, and I guess I can't handle, my brain physically cannot handle 3 games in one day. Like, sunod-sunod I need a break. I need a
Yeah.
long break after that.
Yeah. So I could have conceded round 3. We could have eaten at Coco Chabana after because there was one right there. Nope. I had to drag it 2 more rounds because I thought I needed battle. I was like, I'm just playing for the good tiebreakers.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't very clear, but yeah, the tiebreakers for this tournament was major wins. I mean, wins, draws, losses, major minors included, and yeah, victory points and kill points, which I don't think were being tracked, but it is
Yeah.
somewhere there, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's my bad. Like it was announced, right? Like the tiebreakers were announced. I just wasn't reading. It's my fault, and I was like, oh, I could have just ended this suffering of playing against this army.
It is what it is talaga. It's just our games are always fun, and
They're
it's
always
always stressful. It's always insane. It's always pretty insane. Something
it's
something big happens lagi.
yeah, something anime always happens in our games. It's like
Yeah.
I mean, it's Gardas versus Nurgle, man. What did you expect? We're lore rivals.
It's lore wise, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, but after my game with JP, it was like the most dramatic, the most dramatic intermission para sa akin for the next, because we moved to the next day. But we found out already. I already found out that I was going to be fighting Lance the next day in the morning, and I had to sleep with this man in his own condo. And
We
he
didn't
stayed
sleep
with me.
together.
You heard it here
We
first,
didn't
guys.
sleep together.
Slept with that.
We slept in my condo because the tournament was in Virtus, and Nico is from the south, where they have a very different culture about these things. So so I saw my aunt pop into chat once. For the record, I'm not sleeping with this man. This guy just slept over at our place last weekend. And also, I agree. It was a very dramatic intermission because Nico and I were the only players that were. I hate both of you. That were 3-0 going into day 2. So it was very obvious that he and I would have to fight each other. And the week before this, I'm stealing the show a little bit because I have to. Nico,
Go
a week
ahead.
before this, the past 2 weeks, I fought Nico like 10 times. And I only won once in a mission where there were actually like more than 3 objectives, of which there were like not very much in this tournament. There were 4. And the Mighty and the Cunning, I think Nico positioned very well. Nurgle's pregame move is really good. He moved them front and center. So even if I proving grounds them, his flies would still be able to take it because he controlled it in round 1. And he took round 1, just positioned it in the moon. And because Nurgle is so fast, I have no choice but to engage him on his terms, or he'll just hold 2 points, and that's it.
Yeah. I'd
So
like to. I'd like that game was insane because I was
yeah,
worried from the start because the clock alone was already on a bad position already, right? It was on
yeah.
the clock started at 1, which meant all my heroes had a 4-up ward save. And I'm like, wait, I don't need this because my flies are in the front, my heroes are in the back. So I just thought that fine, I'll put Orgots in the front, sort of in the front, expose him, and see if I can make the most out of that 4-up ward save. But like what happened, you can tell what happened because you tell this better talaga.
Yeah, I tell him better because it comes with all the exhaustion, pain, and anguish and
Yeah, yeah.
trauma. But he saved all. I threw my destroyer, Maw Crusher, with a water and Titanic duel and everything. I was hitting on twos, wounding on twos, and all of that potentially like 50 plus damage because I gave it Violent Fury. He only dealt 6 damage because Nico made all of his armor saves, save for maybe 2, and then he made like half of his ward saves, and my gamble didn't pay off. I double turned him, but still that wasn't enough to chew through Nurgle. Everything was too tough. The combination of Blow B and Lord of Affliction was way too oppressive, with the mission not having forcing me to fight him in the middle. I think that if the mission allowed me to, if I was playing a different battle plan, I normally have to spread my army out because I think Nico's army's major weakness is split him up and isolate his army, and you throw your biggest hammers there. All of his auras wouldn't be able to deter everything. But
Yeah.
in this case, I was forced to fight in the middle. I gambled and lost. And it was such a
Yeah.
good game. We both won before and after the games. And as per usual, because of my personality, I got very salty. But I also was very happy that Nico was able to win that game. Because
I get the saltiness talaga, because
absolutely.
yeah, because even I would understand that even I'm a bit worried about the luck aspect of this game because it's all our games eh. It's all our games by ganito. And every time I kill, it's always exactly enough. It's never more, it's never less.
For people who are
Talaga.
tuning in just now, speaking of exactlies, he was fighting my Maw Crusher, and the turn before that, I miscast, took 3 wounds, and the turn after, he procs his abilities and kills him to the wound because my miscast hurt me for 3 wounds. So I'm like, there's just some aspect of this dice game that really messes with my head sometimes.
Yeah, because imagine if that in another universe, if that didn't happen, you would have had 3 wounds left. And you could have survived an attack from Blob, because Blob's a pussy wizard, right?
I
He's
guess
a pussy
so.
boy wizard. Yeah.
I think less of him being a puss boy wizard and more that there were 2 combats that were very crucial. Orgots was on his last legs, and giving the Maw Crusher a chance to strike would be taking down a unit, which is kind of big, since Globe and Orgots were not at full health at that time.
Yeah.
But Lance, you didn't roll better, forehead.
I didn't roll better. It's my fault.
I wanted it more. I was shouting. Nurgle, praise Nurgle. Because I was rolling 7 dice, like a lot, surprisingly. Like, 7 saves, 7 damage, 7 ward saves, 7 go through, Nurgle, right?
Yeah, dude, like Christoph said earlier, earlier in the chat, he was like, yeah, the power of belief, man. You used to shout crit for your D&Ds and you got your crits. You're getting the same shit with your power of belief. So heart of the cards, Nico. Heart of the cards.
And Luigi, I couldn't spike his food or hex his dice. I don't know how to hex someone's dice. If you know, please tell me. I might need that next time. I'm kidding. I'm not doing that. But like, I didn't spike his food. I should have done that.
I mean, we almost left him in your condo, right?
That's true. I just told him, guys,
you could have just chosen not to wake. Yeah, you could have just chosen not to wake me up because I'm a heavy sleeper. Eh.
Yeah.
No, you were already awake when I left the room.
Dude, I was but when I woke up, everyone was gone already. Like JP and Patrick were like showering or something like that. Not together.
Oh my god.
Not together, but they were just gone from the living room.
Tag Anna right now. And MJ. Tag them both. JP and shower. JP and Patrick showering together. Anyways, sorry. Go on, Nico. It's your turn to continue the story.
Alright. But yeah, that's just the basic gist of our game. I'd like to think that you and I have some sort of, like, I don't know, would you call this a rivalry?
It's definitely a rivalry, and it's definitely personal. You're a good friend of mine, but I also want to punch you in the face.
I know, dude. It's like you're Vegeta, and I'm Goku right now.
I just don't have the widow's peak for it, but you're right. I guess I am Vegeta. God damn it.
But yeah, that was so fun. That was actually pretty insane, and I'm glad we got that out of the way now already, because after that was the final round, and we're moving on to my game with BK, which was basically the fall of Aldorf, like he likes to call it, right? It was Cities of Sigmar, the Emperor versus Nurgle, and it was an army that again I couldn't alpha strike because it was corner to corner and he parked so far in the back, and he could come out from any edge. And like my worry with JP, if I fought JP in this, he would have just dropped Liberators on each corner and just stayed there, right? And that would be 15 models in each quarter, right? So instead of chasing after pre-game moving, chasing after the thing in the far corner, I actually played very passively, which I felt very weird and insecure about at first, but it paid off. I pre-game moved across the edges of the battlefield just to limit where he could pop out of. So if ever he would pop out from behind, I would have enough movement to respond to the threat for each side, right? But he parked in the front, and I pinned him into his corner, and that won me the game. Actually, long story short, it won me the game. That Griffin is actually a pretty tough cookie. And Lance, actually, I think if you fought that Griffin, it could actually negate that rip that you given him around. Yeah,
I agree. I had to strategize my entire game plan around how to kill that, crack that egg. It's very strong.
Yeah, the only problem with the Griffin is it has no ward saves, right? So the minute one attack to it's like 5 damage. It's a big chunk of its life. But he did have that thing that brings it back to life. That mount trait, right? It's a mount trait.
Yeah, Soaring Guardian, I think.
Soaring Guardian.
Soaring Guardian.
Yeah. But what I love about Nurgle is that it leaves you with disease. So the minute you kill it from combat, it comes back with 2 HP. But he had 5 disease on him, and that was enough to kill him.
Yep.
And that was basically it. Yeah. Props to that one fly left that cannibalized both the Hurricanums alone. I don't know how that happened, but that was pretty fun also. But yeah, it was a good game per end because he killed Argots, and that didn't happen in this game today. And it didn't happen in
any other game tournament, right?
Yeah, in the tournament. Yeah. So he killed Orgots, and that had me worried a bit because I'd have to hold him back a bit longer. And I didn't want to throw blow at the Griffin. I didn't want to get into a fist fight with the Griffin.
No, that sounds like a smart plan, yeah.
Yeah. No, I was pussyfooting around. Yeah, dude, I was pussyfooting around the Griffin. I was charging around the Griffin and just letting the aura chip him away.
Yep.
That was basically it. But yeah, that's my 5 games.
Yeah, and they got 5-0, got a hammer. How does it feel? You're the second 5-0 in AOS 3 in the Philippines right now.
Let's make it a third. The joke lang. Well, I mean, yeah. Let's. It adds pressure. It adds a lot of pressure.
That's fair.
But
so for people who don't know, in the Philippines we have a player point system, and currently Nico is in the running for best general and best chaos. He won 2 tournaments in a row, and he's slowly he has a very solid lead. That's a bit difficult to catch up to.
Yeah, but it's also easy to lose on my end as well if I just don't show up or do badly in the next tournament. But yeah. Speaking of hammer, though, let's check the chat right now and see who has the highest bid to hit me in the head with the hammer.
Julie's asking if she's allowed to pay in dice. That's the last.
No, but I accept Gcash naman. So who's the highest bid, right? I believe it's Isa
with 2K.
No.
Right.
It's Vincent with 2001.
Oh, okay, Vince.
All right, we'll take that. Yeah, there you go. My type of bidding right there.
Yeah, John Michael joked that this was basically an OnlyFans stream. This is sort of like the closest thing to that we got. Except it's not a promiscuous kind. It's just Nico getting hit with a hammer.
Yeah, I'll take the money.
Okay, so we're at 9:19 right now. We're more than an hour in. We're going to go quickly over our favorite lists and then talk about the future just a little bit. Nico, you're up first. What is your favorite list?
All right, so my favorite list was Dennis's list, actually, because this gave me the run for my money talaga in the entire tournament. I played against Dennis before with not this list, but something similar. Same principle, but this had more hammers. In our previous games, he almost got me just because everything was fighting twice when it died, and that was not fun to take. I mean, I already killed you, stay dead, but no, you kept fighting twice, right? The Rat Ogres were new to me. The Vermin Lord did the most work in our game. But what was insane was I've never seen anyone with 8 spellcasting in one turn. 8 spellcastings, that has to beat Lumineth, right? I don't know. I've never seen a Lumineth player cast 8 spells before. This guy casted 8 spells. And I'm impressed he could keep track in each of his games what spell he was casting, right? I got very lucky, though, that one particular rat rolled a 13 with 3 dice and hurt himself, and then miscasted again later on and killed himself. So that reduced a lot, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, that was really fun to watch. But that's the most Skaven thing about Skaven, right?
Yep.
It's
Yep.
so broken sometimes, but it's insane what can happen to you as well.
Yep. For sure.
Yeah, this will have to be my favorite list talaga. It was so versatile.
Okay, so
Right. So moving on to my favorite list, we have Sean here with his Ogre Mod tribes, the big brutal clowns, as he likes to call it. It's really pretty army. It was really personalized. All of his models were customized to some extent. Essentially, the only reason why I like this list is it is what do you call this? It has shooting, so it has what Patrick's list lacks, which are like lead belchers and iron blasters. So lists like mine that like to hang back, present a wall for you to try to chew through, and then I'm gonna shoot you with my shooting in the back. It gets challenged a bit because we go to like a shoot off, and I lost that shoot off when I played against this list. So essentially, to me, this list is really strong in melee and it's really strong in range, and it's very tanky. Like it has a lot of wounds. Like every model here has 4 wounds or more. And yeah, that's it. Underguts is a really shooty list. Also, lead belchers are the best models in the game. They literally have like pirate cannons that they're running around with. They look so amazing.
can't miss if you shoot everywhere.
Can I just clarify also? His list is called Big Brutal Clowns.
Yeah. The list name is the Brig Brutal Clowns.
Led by Khan Thought the Pain Train.
That's his Frost Lord. And
just wanna
then
point
he
out,
has
Oh no, his general is Bogor Meat Slapper.
that is his Slaughter Master, yes.
Yeah, that's
Meat
his general.
Slapper. Oh, okay, I just want to point out, BBC. But yeah, anyways, let's go. Let's go forward.
Yeah. So,
Oh, I just
wait,
got
what do you
that.
mean?
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I took forever. So
Okay.
yeah, shout out to Sean. This list was very creative. It's really great, and I had fun fighting it. It was a really fun time around. Lads.
All right. So final. My favorite list was by Jigs Abrigo. He is actually a very dominant 40k player in the local scene and has recently tried to join AOS. Upon fighting him in Battle Round 5, it was only his 7th game of AOS, but he already got an impressive 3-2 win, showing that his skills from 40k translated over. In terms of list building, I found this to be very exciting because it has all the core tenets and fundamentals that Sylvaneth needs. Sylvaneth now in this incarnation needs just one hammer, and that's the Spirit of Durthu. You pair that up with a Kronspine to hold the line, Dryads for holding objectives, True Revenants for teleporting, and Alariel for being something that you have to invest actual effort into killing, and then she actually still comes back because she heals 2d6 at the during the hero phase, during each of their hero phases. I felt this was very interesting. Also, with Spitestorm and Lauchon the Soul Seeker, this army is all about mobility. Also gorgeously painted. Jig says that his sister painted it. She did an amazing job. And that's it. I love this list. I'm glad I got to fight it. I'm glad I got to play against Jigs. Solid list. Nothing else to say about it.
It's actually pretty scary. Even for me, it's still pretty intimidating. On the right battle plan, it's still pretty intimidating.
It swings very wide.
Yeah.
And it's really well thought out if you look at it. Like Durthu has War Singer, so that's lets it cast from from the trees. Like what do you call this? You can treat like the trees and the awakened places of power like spell portal. So essentially, you can really keep Durthu alive by using Lauchon to propel it forward when it needs to hit in melee. Spite Swarm to give it extra charges if Lauchon is not enough, and then he can essentially play the Sylvaneth game of hit and run. And on top of that, like you said, right, hit and run hammer with 2 very tanky things that can hold down your army. It's really well thought out. Like I love the list actually.
No, absolutely. So yeah, those were all of our favorite lists, and let's move on to the last slide. So yeah, we talked about our favorite lists. We talked about our own lists and our gauntlet. And it was an amazing time, surreal 2 days, sleepovers and all that, hanging out with the bros, and we're very proud to say that we got top 4. That was great. Like
it's funny on this last slide. I just realized Nico's fucking trophy is backwards. You fucking monkey. I didn't even realize.
he wanted to read the trophy, and he's like, "Yeah, I bet they can read it too." No, that's not true. So for people who don't know, Nico got the championship trophy, and he's just not showing it. So
I was
yes.
brain dead by that moment right there. I was so tired. I don't know,
was
man. I
stopping,
had
we were getting ready to leave. Yeah.
Yeah,
the aircon. The aircon. The power died. The aircon died. It was really hot in there in the last round. People were
yes.
being rushed to go home, and then the pressure of like the storm arriving and knowing that I have to drive home. It was really tiring. That was
Oh
really
man.
exhausting.
Yeah, it was actually scary because we heard news of the typhoon all day and we're really exactly sure what to expect going out. But yeah, so the tables were all cleaned up already. We were rushing to go home, and as you can see, I forgot to mention that Nico got first place prize, JP got second, and I got raffle prize. So yeah, jokes on you guys. I'm the real winner here. I believe the luck was with me in the end.
How about the future of future events, Lance? Well, what do
Oh
we have
yeah,
in
so
line?
so I'm very the year is about to end as this is being recorded. This is September 27th, and we are very happy to say that we have a tournament coming up with War Room in November. This will we're still reviewing how many slots, but we're hopefully going to allow for 12 slots, and we hope to see you guys there. It's going to be a 2,000 point Rogue Trader tournament, 3 rounds for 1 day.
Yep, points are going to be available in this tournament, right, Lance?
Player, yeah, if you're competing for best chaos, destruction, order, and death, you might want to join this tournament because Matt Direct will be recording points from this. And yeah, I'll be TOing this tournament, so I won't be able to join. But I think JP and Nico both want to get their hands dirty in this one because we have a lot of people in the running. There's a lot of drama for best order, best chaos right now. These two don't want to let go of those.
JP, I bet you and I are gonna fight round 1. I have a feeling. It's getting shorter and shorter. We fought in the finals once, and then
We fought in the finals twice now.
Twice, yeah. But this time, it was in the, whatchamacallit?
Third
round. It
round.
was in round 3. Round 3, right? So, I bet we're gonna fight in round 1 or round 2. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or God willing, I dodge you round 1 and 2. You die to someone else, and I don't see you. God bless.
That's also a possibility. Yes, that's also very true.
If we have 12 players, there's a possibility that we have 2, 3, and O's. So it's very possible for you to both get the same win record and at the same time have different have tiebreakers settle the rest.
Yeah,
that's a difference in dynamic if we have more than 8 players in 3 rounds.
Yep.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool. That's gonna be so cool, actually.
It's anyone's game, and to be honest, I'm not after. I mean, it would be great to win, but I just want to maintain like a healthy point, a healthy point lead for the best chaos. I just want chaos. I don't know. This year, I've been really competitive, and I really wanted.
No, absolutely. This year we went so ham with Age of Sigmar. I'm so glad you got us into this hobby. Holy shit.
Yeah, no, I'm glad also that I got people into this because it sucks being an only child and not having anyone to play this with.
Oh, that sucks, bro.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll lose to you. Don't worry. I'm kidding. Nah, dude, don't worry, dude. I still want to test your new Black King list with my Brute list. Like maybe sometime this week or next week. Yeah, I'm down. That sounds like fun. So I think it's almost 9:30. It's an hour 30 minute stream. Thank you so much for those who stayed. We hope you enjoyed the content. Please comment below on any questions that you have in moving forward. We'll try to answer them and try to create more content. We have so much planned over the next year with veterans returning and newbies joining the hobby. We're so excited for what Age of Sigmar has in store in 2023 and the rest of this.
By the way, last shout out. If any of you guys need dice, you can always buy from Dice-Key. That's where I got my dice. Always helps to have a big bag of dice, about 50 pieces if you want, even up to 100. Because you'll never know how many dice you need, right, in Warhammer. Because apparently that's what everyone's doing right now, is rolling like 50 dice at a time now. So yeah
pretty much.
Search for Dice-Key.
Also, guys, check out Dwarven Dude Craft. If you are you still doing commissions?
Yeah, right. Sorry?
Are you still doing commissions?
Right now it's currently closed, but I'll announce if ever I open commissions again. One day.
His painting, if you've seen the pictures of his Nurgle army all throughout the stream, it's amazing. So check out his page, Dwarven Dude Craft, and you'll see his work there posted every now and then.
Yep.
And if you like our content, if you like Age of Sigmar, follow us on Facebook in the page that's streaming this stream right now, and join our Discord. The Discord link is also on the Facebook page. And any other comments, guys, before we bounce off?
Okay, so the stream is about to end, and currently Vincent's in the lead for 2,001 pesos to whack me. Congratulations, Vincent! You just won a chance to hit me in the head with this hammer for 2,001 pesos. You know my Gcash. Send it to me, and we'll schedule probably. Kailan ako nadalo sa bahay mo with a hammer, then go ahead. You can do whatever you want with me.
Swaps it out for an actual hammer, no? Yung ano. Oh, it's gonna be great. All right.
So you, I'm getting money.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, that's all the time we have. Exactly 9:30. Good night, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Peace.